Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. First off, that was my first time showing you guys using my espresso machine. I love her so much. Did my refrigerator run out of ice when I tried to make that? Yeah. So that's why this drink looks so pathetic right now, but it is... Chicken's right here. Chicken. She really said, I do not give a shit about you, mom. So basically I am at 997,000 followers and hopefully, fingers crossed, soon I hit 1 million. So I bought a 1 and an M balloon and they're sitting over there and she will not take her eyes off them. She hates them so much. She's terrified of them. She's like locked in and making sure those balloons don't hurt her. Anyways, back to my coffee. I just made like a protein espresso, used salted caramel from Raw. Code Marissa, you already know. The easiest 25 grams of protein you'll ever drink and make. Sorry, it's also so freezing in my house right now. I have a blanket on. The real reason we're here though is because I thought I would give you an entire rundown of my fitness journey, where I started, how I got to where I am now, how I'm able to maintain a healthy relationship with everything fitness related. I know that was probably one of the biggest struggles that a lot of you deal with. I thought I would share with you some of my biggest tips and tricks and things that I kind of had wished I'd known sooner, rather than having to like actually experience 7 years plus of trial and error. So I'm gonna break it all down for you. Yeah, so get cozy, buckle up, and we're just gonna get to it. Please do bear with me as I try to give you the most clear and concise timeline while also just sharing my personal tips and tricks on maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I just want to make this as cohesive as possible, but that's very difficult when we're going to be reviewing the past 7 years of my life. To start, I have always been an extremely active person. Maybe not extreme, but playing sports year-round, soccer, basketball, volleyball, track, cross country. Every single season of high school, I was doing some sort of sport. In terms of food, this was before social media. I'm kind of old. So this was before I even had anything to look up to, or I ever had insecurities, if you will, because we weren't on social media in high school when I was in high school. Like we were, but we weren't. I think MySpace and Twitter were where it was at. Skip to college. This is when shit hit the fan and the wheels fell off. Social media was a lot more present. Comparison, thinking I was fat, finding out I had stretch marks, using bio oil, the whole nine. Freshman year was going through that mentally, but physically stopped playing basketball, stopped doing my sports just because I wasn't good enough to be playing college sports, but basically just went from 100 to 0 within a few months. Gained the very typical freshman 15. Mind you, I obviously was not in shape, but I don't want you to think that I was like severely obese. I was probably 155 pounds, which for me, I weigh like 135 right now, so an extra 20 pounds. I weigh probably 130, 135. I digress. An extra 20, 25 pounds on me is a lot. Did the whole thing in college. Kayla It signs, the 30 days of abs, running, doing the most excessive amount of cardio. I remember I would run every single day in college, my freshman and sophomore year. Every single day would run 3-4 miles, sometimes twice a day. If I ate something bad, would run again. I actually ended up seeing very good results from what I thought was doing Kayla It Signs and running. No, it was just me working out all day, every day, and not eating really anything. When you see results, you think that that's the right answer. So then, because that was not a very sustainable lifestyle at all, a few months go by, I stopped running as much, gained all the weight back. Okay, so we're fluctuating here. We're not really sure why. I'm cutting calories, still not losing weight. It's a vicious cycle. I get introduced to Mitch, and Mitch introduces me to the gym. I'm terrified to lift weights. This is during the phase of lifting weights is gonna make you bulky. You're gonna turn into a dude if you lift one singular weight. Obviously not the case. I don't know that yet. I'm going through all the fads. This is my very first tip and piece of advice that I'm gonna share with you that I wish I had known sooner. Do not go online and follow your favorite influencers' full day of eating, food, their macro breakdown. It will not work for you. I learned this the hard way because it will F with your head when you eat exactly what your favorite influencer is eating and you end up not looking anything like them. Do not follow their meal plans. For example, if you and I do the exact same workouts for 6 months, we eat the exact same foods, we take the exact same amount of steps, say we're living together, just same exact routine every single day for 6 months. If we eat the exact same foods and macro breakdown, you and I will not look the same come the end of the 6 months. Our bodies all require such different things. Some of us have very fast metabolisms, some of us have slower metabolisms. What works for me may not work for you. My full day eatings, I do not like to share macros too often because I don't want you guys to eat exactly what I eat. I want you guys to get inspo and high protein meal ideas from my full day of eatings, but I don't post them for you to copy them. I just want to explain that. So in college, Mitch introduces me to weightlifting. I slowly start integrating weightlifting, really terrified still though that I'm gonna gain weight. I'm doing cardio a lot while lifting very minimal amounts of weight, but still in the gym. I wouldn't say my working out in the gym is anything close to what I'm doing now, but very dumbbell focused, very, very light, extremely high weight, which is not a bad way of training by any means. I was not implementing progressive overload. I wasn't increasing intensity. So I would eventually plateau because if I'm just lifting 5-pound dumbbells for 6 months, what are we doing? So I'm not shocking my system at all. I'm not changing anything up. Kind of a segue into my tip number 2. Do not be afraid of the weight room. It will not make you bulky, I promise. I have been working out for years, probably more consistently in the last 2 to 3 years, but going through all the stages of working out and getting bulky has been one of the most it's hard to get bulky. I've gone through bulks before and you have to be eating a lot of calories to get bulky. So that's what's gonna make you bulky is increasing your calories, but lifting weights will not make you bulky. In fact, when you lift weights, you are building muscle, and when you put on muscle mass, your metabolism will actually increase. It boosts your metabolism because muscle burns more calories than fat. So the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body is naturally gonna burn in a day versus maybe you're not overweight at all, but say you have significantly less muscle mass on your body, your metabolism is probably going to be a little bit slower than someone who has significantly more muscle mass on their body. Okay, so that's my little tip number 2. Once I started working out with Mitch, I began to gain weight. So high school, I was a very normal size, gained the freshman 15, lost the freshman 15, gained weight once Mitch and I started hanging out and dating, not because of me lifting weights, but because in new relationships, I feel like this is very relatable. Mitch would eat a lot of food. So I naturally would be eating a lot of food. We would go on dates a lot. We would stay up till midnight, 1 a.m. at parties, and Mitch would eat half of a Domino's pizza. So I would eat half of a Domino's pizza. I know you guys know know how that is. Like, it's just, I don't know. So I gained weight, and during this weight gain, Mitch was like, let's just put these calories to use and just kind of hone in on your macros a little bit and try to do a bulk. Well, I was still very, very new to the whole thing, so the bulk didn't really work. I just ended up gaining weight, but it's fine, not a big deal. Mentally, I wasn't in a bad headspace about it at all. Like, I was very happy with my body and my relationship with food. I think because I was just in the honeymoon phase with Mitch. We're headed toward the end of college now. I go study abroad for 3 months to do an internship. This is kind of when I kickstart my fit page, if you will. I had kind of locked in with the gym. I was a lot more familiar what worked for me and my body in the gym. I had come to the understanding that weight gain and weight loss wasn't going to come from the types of workouts and how many workouts I did a day. Obviously that does contribute, but it came down to the sole fact that your weight gain and weight loss will solely be based off of your calories in versus your calories out. I definitely went through the phase where carbs are bad for you. Fat is gonna make you fat. Cardio is gonna make you the most skinny. Lifting light weights is gonna make you the most skinny. All of those factors do contribute to your weight gain. Like, carbs will make you gain weight only if you're eating an excess amount of carbs and the calories that you consume of carbs is more than the calories that you burn that day. So say instead of eating a well-rounded macro breakdown, I eat 2,000 calories of straight up carbs. Let's just say I have like 12 loaves of bread. Say I only burn 1,000 calories today. I consumed 2,000 calories and only burned 1,000. Over a course of time, like as I continue in that surplus of calories, they're all carbs, I will gain weight. But if I eat 500 calories of carbs a day and I'm burning 1,000 calories, you're not gonna gain weight because of those carbs. It's calories in versus calories out. Does not matter what type of calories those are. Yes, some calories will make you feel better and more energized and contribute to different aspects of your training much more efficiently. But at the end of the day, if I were to eat straight up junk food, Cheetos, every single day, all day, as long as I was consuming less calories of Cheetos than I was burning, then I'm not gonna gain weight. As soon as I start consuming thousands and thousands of calories worth of Cheetos and I'm only burning, let's say 2,000 calories, that's when I start gaining weight, okay? So carbs won't make you gain weight. Fat doesn't make you fat. At the end of the day, you are not seeing results mostly because your calories in are higher than your calories out, okay? These are all things that I experienced myself, and I am just punching and kicking myself for spending years being consumed by numbers, being consumed by foods, just being obsessive. And if I could go back to my college days and not be thinking about, oh, this bagel's gonna make me fat, I would go back. Like, I wish so badly that I had the knowledge and the tools and the resources, but I just didn't. So I'm hoping that I give you guys those tools and resources and everything that I possibly can. While I was in South Africa studying abroad, like I said, I kind of started my fitness page more legitimately. College, your schedule is very sporadic. You're so busy with school, work, making time for your social life that having a routine was very difficult for me. As soon as I went to South Africa, I had my internship, and other than my internship, I had nothing else to do. I obviously had friends there, but they all worked full-time jobs or like full-time internships from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. or sorry, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We all just lived very adult lives for the 3 months I was there. I would wake up, go to the gym, go to work, come home, make dinner, and go to bed. And then on the weekends, my friends and I would do stuff. With that being said, finding a routine and sticking to my macros and calories very religiously, I saw the best progress of my life for the first time. In terms of like, yes, I gained weight and lost weight, but a lot of it, I wasn't really locked in with the gym. Like how do I emphasize this? Like, I always did go to the gym and work out, but my workouts were very novice, is that the right word? Where I was going through the motions, I was like getting a sweat on, but it was nothing like the training that I do today. Like, the intensity wasn't there, the understanding of why I'm doing the movements wasn't there, the mind-muscle connection wasn't there. I was just there because Mitch was there and we loved spending time together. So I'd run a couple miles on the treadmill, I'd do some curls, I would do some exercises, and then Mitch would finish his workout and we would get out of there. Okay. So once I'm in South Africa, I, like I said, see results where I'm like, holy shit, this does work. If you hit your calories and you hit your macros and you I was tracking at the time. If you hit your macros and you stay to a plan, you will see results. Like, damn, I did that shit. I was like, it finally works. It clicked for me. Come home from South Africa and back with Mitch. Love Mitch. But as we all know, if you're eating and keeping up with your significant other and their calories, Mitch requires probably 2 times as many calories as I require. But here I am, little risk. I'm just gonna eat with Mitch. If we go out to the bars and we get pizza afterward, I'm not gonna say no to pizza, okay? Obviously, looking back, I could have said yes to pizza without having 6 slices. I could have just had 1. But in the moment, we're not thinking about portion sizes, okay? I hit a phase of my life from post-college to up about until a year and a half or 2 ago where I was training hard. I knew exactly what I was doing in the gym. I had a relatively healthy-ish relationship with food. I was very aware of what my body looked like, but for me, I was fine with that. And I will show you pictures, kind of just going through the motions, very comfortable with where I'm at, but not, what's the word? Comfortable for me, but I don't know if the comfortability was necessarily good for me, if that makes sense. Yes, eating junk food, but I was eating an excess amount of it. Still eating whole nutritious foods. I've always been someone who loved whole nutritious foods to begin with. So forcing me to eat a salad, forcing me to eat my vegetables at dinner was never an issue. I don't know, I like whole nutritious foods, but I also like junk food. I would eat both of those. The reason I don't call that balance is because I don't necessarily, I was not taking care of my body. So even though on the outside, in my opinion, I did not look bad, but on the inside, I was feeling sluggish. I was not feeling energized. I was not wanting to work out. I was going through the motions. I would have good workouts and I would have bad workouts. But the way I was fueling my body and treating my body, in my opinion, was not healthy. And I didn't know it, but I did need to make a change. Nothing drastic, but I just knew that I couldn't keep going through life just waking up sluggish throughout the day, waking up sluggish. And I didn't know what it was until I realized it was probably the 1,000 extra plus calories that I would eat at night of straight junk food. Again, I'm not saying junk food is bad for you. I still eat it, but eating an excess amount of calories of it, your body will react. Just think about when you are done eating a well-rounded meal with fruits, veggies, whole foods, all that, your body feels good after. And you'll probably go to bed and wake up and feel good and ready for the day. If you go to bed, go out one night and you have pizza and tacos and you have all the yummy things, you have Taco Bell, and you're like, oh yeah, this is so good. 10 times out of 10, the second I'm done eating a spicy potato taco from Taco Bell, my stomach is already hurting. I'll be halfway through a taco and I'll be like, damn, it's already hurting, but it tastes so good. But your body is already telling you this is a bunch of shit. You're gonna be feeling it tomorrow. And then the next day after I'm recovering, my body, I don't know if I'm the only one, my body 100% requires recovery from Taco Bell or junk food. So that was me about a year and a half ago, not feeling like it was a problem because my body was so used to that sluggish feeling. I didn't know what not feeling sluggish was like. Now that we've kind of touched on my previous up until this point, we can kind of dive into up until about a year ago to now, how I got to where I am, what I did specifically, and my biggest tips on how to maintain this sustainably. I just want to preface that is my number one goal / message / what I try so hard to relay to you guys and help you guys create your own sustainable, balanced lifestyle. I have gone through every single phase. Cardio queen, restricting foods to the point where I remember in college, my friends and I in college would literally one day, if we ate unhealthy the night before, we would literally say, let's do a fast today. I'm embarrassed. Absolutely not. Obviously, there are health benefits to fasting. When you should not do fasting is as a punishment for, I would use Adderall as an appetite suppressant. I began to use Adderall as just a way to help me study for really big exams. And then when I would be taking the Adderall and then studying for my exam, I'd realize that I didn't have an appetite. And I'd be like, oh, this is kind of nice. I can use this as an appetite suppressant. Wrong, not healthy. One thing to know about suppressing your appetite, it will work for the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months that you use it. The second you are off any type of appetite suppressant, your body will yearn for calories, a normal amount of calories like it wants, and you will immediately gain all of that weight back, if not more, which is why I push so heavy for a balanced, sustainable lifestyle, because what I'm doing, how I'm living, if it's something I enjoy and if I'm happy with my mental and physical health, I want to be able to maintain that long term. We're not doing fad diets and all that type shit. No. We're gonna create something long-term that we can literally do comfortably for the rest of our lives. I do wish I had more of a straight up answer as to how I went from my before picture to my after picture, but there are a lot of things. One, calories in versus calories out. I stopped the late night snacking. I think that was my biggest enemy. I was probably consuming an extra 600 to 1,000 calories, honestly, at night, just snacking and watching TV and having downtime with Mitch. So that was a huge factor. Locking into my workouts. I know this sounds so silly and so simple, but I've always consistently gone to the gym. But the past year, I've stopped being on my phone so much between sets. I've been timing my rests. The Live app does a really good job of that. So if you are kind of looking for a workout app, I do have my program Elevate on the Live app right now. The link is below. And if you use my code Marissa, you will get 10% off your subscription. But with that being said, following a program and timing your workouts made a huge difference for me. You might not realize that if you get on your phone, you're like, oh, I'm just getting on my phone between sets. It's not that long. Well, if you're resting for an extra 2-3 minutes and you don't even realize it, it makes a huge difference. So locking in the gym, increasing my intensity, increasing my progressive overload, being mindful with my workouts and going in there with, mentally preparing. I know it might all be physical. I don't know if that made sense. You go to the gym and you're going through the movements and you're like, wow, I'm sweating. But if your mind isn't there, it's hard to really get into that workout like you could. Mentally locking in, physically locking in, like just taking shit more seriously in the gym. Another thing that has changed in probably the last year, maybe almost year or so, I stopped being a vegetarian/vegan. There's no rhyme or reason as to why I did it. I was literally sitting right there on that couch and Mitch was making like chicken. And I've never ever had any sort of cravings for the past 10 years that I was a vegetarian/vegan. Never had cravings. I sat there on that couch and I was like, I could not stop thinking about that chicken. I do not know what was going inside my brain. Could not stop thinking about that chicken. So much so to the point where I said, Mitch, and he says, yeah. I go, can I have a bite of that chicken? He's like, are you sure? And I was like, I cannot stop thinking about it. So he gave me a very small bite. That was it. The next night he made the exact same dish. I had another small bite. And then I think that weekend after I had a bite, I went to Houston with my friends to work. We went to Gukaku or whatever, a Korean Japanese barbecue place. Had full-blown like steak, chicken, pork. I went off the deep end and I've never looked back. And I'm not saying that this is the reason I leaned out. I'm not, because at the end of the day, it will be your calories in versus calories out that will help you see weight loss, or vice versa if you want to gain weight and build muscle. But I do feel like the timing just seems weird for me to stop being a vegetarian, then all of a sudden I am able to lock in. You can 100% be on a plant-based diet and make progress in the gym. I personally never had issues hitting my protein goal because nowadays, like, they have really great meat alternatives. But one thing I will say, which I think people got confused about, I was eating a very highly processed foods, because yes, you think plant-based diet, okay, well, I'm trying to hit my protein goals. Obviously couldn't get that from animals. So I would get that from protein shakes. I would get that from meat alternatives, which are extremely processed. I think that, like, I obviously still do eat plenty of processed foods, but I'm not eating processed foods for every single one of my meals. And that's what I was doing when I was a vegetarian. Like, there was no other way to get protein in. And again, I'm not saying that you can't be a vegetarian and make gains, but my personal vegetarian diet was higher processed foods, and now I'm eating more clean foods And I do think that that made a difference in how I'm feeling, my energy levels, and in turn, how I'm able to perform in the gym. Moving into a few tips that once I did make these changes, things that I implemented into my routine that I really feel like helped me immensely with maintaining my lifestyle comfortably and my health and fitness regimen without making it feel overwhelming and not possible. One, increasing my water intake. I try to drink at least 100 ounces of water a day. A gallon would be great, but I don't want to make a goal too big where I feel like it's overwhelming and I won't do it. So I've been drinking 100 ounces of water a day. If I drink 1 to 2 water bottles at the gym, there's 40 ounces. If I then drink a glass or 2 with every single meal I have and then have a glass in between meals, you can easily hit your water intake. That has been a huge difference for me, 100%. 2, following a plan. I know I already touched on this, but following a plan, again, if I go into the gym and step into the gym and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I'm gonna end up just like doing a few sets of this, a few sets of that, feeling so confused and lost that I'll probably end up just like getting on the treadmill for 20 minutes, walking and leaving, because that's genuinely what I used to do. Having a plan where I can see all my workouts laid out, I can see all my workouts laid out by the day, by the week, by the month, and I can track it and I can check it off my list. That helps me mentally so much. It might seem like something so little, but if you're feeling lost and unmotivated to go to the gym, having a workout program, I guarantee will get your butt to the gym and get you excited to be there and have you like following something so you don't feel lost and confused. Because whenever I feel lost and confused, my initial reaction, give up. I'm so serious, and I can't be the only one. Also, finding a routine, whether that's a pre-workout routine, a routine in general. If your schedule is a little bit like mine where it's every day doesn't look identical, but if you can find, even if just in the morning, it's waking up, making your coffee, taking your vitamins, sitting down and journaling, do that, create that. Find a routine, find something that works for you, something that's sustainable that you're gonna stick to, and implement that. I promise it will make such a difference in your mornings or evenings, whatever time you feel like you thrive the most and are gonna go to the gym. Create a routine around that so it becomes a habit and it becomes clockwork. You're not, you don't have to think about it. Another tip that I am gonna talk about, but I want all of you to just know you in your mind before doing this. And the only reason I have such a familiar background with this is because I spent so many years tracking my macros that I feel like I can eat intuitively now. I have obsessive tendencies. So if I were to track every single day right now, I think it would turn toxic because I get so attached to the numbers. And if I don't hit those calories every day, I will crumble. I will spiral. If you are not like that, I highly suggest tracking your macros because staying on top of your macros will make the biggest difference. If you're someone who can't track their macros daily, but you want to kind of be able to start somewhere, try tracking your macros for 2 to 3 days at a time. Get a general idea of the calories you're eating, where those macros fall, and then go from there. But I will say tracking has allowed me to familiarize myself with portion sizes, understand portion sizes, be able to look at a plate and know, okay, maybe that's about 1.5 servings of chicken, probably a cup of rice on my plate. Again, it's not perfect, but I really did learn so much from tracking my food. Again, this is only for people who feel like you will not get an obsessive relationship with it because it can turn toxic extremely fast. And again, I'm all about creating a lifestyle and creating habits that you can do for the rest of your life while maintaining your physique, reaching your goals, and not making it feel like it's only gonna work for 3 months and then you're gonna be entirely burnt out of your routine where you crash and stop entirely. Like, I want you to be able to build something where you could do it every single day or 90% of the year, like not including vacations and or weekends, and feel very comfortable and feel like it's not draining you. So for me, tracking my macros 100% would cause me to spiral. But there are days where sometimes if I've like been gone on vacation and traveling, I'll come home and eat like a day and kind of track it just to kind of gauge like where my macros are falling, and then I can adjust like, oh, I was really short on carbs today. Let's up it here. Oh, I was really short on protein today. Like, let's up it here. Okay? Something to think about, but again, you know yourself best. rest. I would not go down that route if you feel like it will turn toxic. Another thing that I do, if you kind of regarding to the MyFitnessPal and tracking your macros, if you are someone who does not want to track, but you still want to stay on top of your calories, focus on your protein intake. That was huge for me. I feel like a lot of times if I focus on my protein intake, the rest of my calories will fall where they do. But as long as I hit my protein, usually my body responds really well to that. And again, as long as I'm eating the exact amount of calories I burn, maintaining a little bit, like there shouldn't be an issue. Something else that I wish I had understood as I was going through this journey is slow progress is good. Things are not going to happen overnight. You have to be patient. You have to be consistent. Consistency will get you there. I promise. You must be patient. You must be consistent. And you have to understand that slow progress is okay. But I'm just saying that like my progress photos about a year and a half apart. And that is after 3 to 4 years of on and off training, gaining weight, losing weight, sometimes on purpose, sometimes on accident. And then being really comfortable and familiar with the gym and having an understanding of movements and being a personal trainer. Like literally I'm certified, and then locking in and kind of like revealing all the work that I had put in. Our genetics are all different, so progress in 3 to 4 months may look completely different for some, but I just want you to know that like slow progress is okay. Just stay consistent. That is what will get you the results you want to see, and be patient. And leading into your progress will not be linear, okay? So again, my fitness journey was a lot like this. And even though I'm right here, it's gonna continue to go like this, okay? Even though I have a very comfortable lifestyle that I'm maintaining and that I'm enjoying, things are gonna happen. Maybe we have kids. I'm not saying I'm gonna have kids, but like life happens. So again, your progress will go up and down, and that is okay as long as it's going up and down like this. If you look at the grand scheme of things in the big picture, the graph is gradually increasing, but like again, up and down, okay? I just want you to know that like this is gonna be a lot more difficult because of social media and what you see on social media. So do not compare. Focus on yourself. Try to create something that is sustainable and that isn't gonna burn you out in the long run. Anyways, I hope this kind of helped give you some insight as to everything and how I was able to get to where I am, and just a little bit more insight on like what I've been through to get here. But yeah, just remember, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't compare yourself online. You're doing amazing. Your progress is not going to be linear, and that is a-okay. Do not give up, okay? All right, I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.